Hey, what's up? I'm your host, Christian Patterson, here to bring you this week's edition of TV20's Inside Sports Report. The Cleveland Crush women's semi-pro team won last year's regional tournament. This year, heading into their final game of the season against the Grand Rapids Galaxy, they're positioned to make another deep run in the regional tournament and hopefully advance to nationals. But this final game of the season was a close one.
The girls stepped up, and they are doing such a terrific job. I'm so proud of them, but they are women, so they know that we needed them. So they stepped in, and they're playing their best. So I'm just so excited. Hopefully we can make it through this game and the next, and we'll be going down to Grand Rapids, Michigan next weekend to bring off South Carolina for the regionals. We're real confident. We got a little more help this year. We got a post player, and then we have another post player. Her name is Taylor, coming from Spain playing. So she's not here today, but she will be at our game next week. So we got a little more boost that we can go in and not lose by that 6 points that we lost last year to not win. But I think we're going in with more power, and hopefully we'll bring home a championship.
Although these women have their sights set on a championship, they know they have to take it one game at a time.
I think how we run our practices really prepares us for that type of game. We have a great squad practice that really prepares us, and so even in practice, when we get to that back and forth and the game is close, we know how to rally together and run the right plays, get the ball to the right players so that we can get that bucket.
The first half of the game was very close. The lead changed a number of times.
I think they're kind of pressuring the ball, not pressuring the ball enough, and they're leaving wide open shots. And you got to play a little more defense because defense wins games. So maybe they can just settle down a little bit and just move the ball around, and I think they'll be all right.
With under 2 minutes to go, the Crush led the Galaxy by 2. But they were able to extend that lead to 8 by the end of regulation.
The consistency, we got to stay focused and really just hone in on those players who are getting buckets and getting good shots and making sure we run our plays correctly.
Congratulations to the Cleveland Crush and good luck on your championship run. Velo Asano, which means swift cure in Latin, is one of the biggest cycling fundraisers in the city of Cleveland. Participants raise money to help advance cancer research while cycling all over the greater Cleveland area. Velo Asano's 5th annual weekend of cycling began with their kickoff party at Mall B in downtown Cleveland. Riders had a chance to register and park their bicycles and enjoy some great food, drinks, and live entertainment.
I mean, you look around, you feel the energy. Last year actually I didn't come because my first year I didn't know what's going on, so I skipped the party and I saw all my friends tweeting about it and thinking about it and told me the next day, and I was really bummed out. And now I'm finally here, and I'm wishing I brought my family because it's kid-friendly, it's everybody-friendly. I mean, everybody's here, and I'm just having a blast, and I'm excited to, I got a lot of biking to do in the next 2 days, but I'm going to get my thighs warmed up, and I'm going to meet some people and tell them about my research, and off we go.
Velo Asano is all about raising funds for cancer research, and nearly $3 million was raised in advance of this year's event.
I'm seeing some momentum. I just told Stuart Cole that. He started this with nothing, and there was a couple tents here. Now look at it. So it's growing because people believe that the funds are being put to a good use.
It's important to realize that unlike a lot of events, 100% of every dollar that people donate to the event goes directly to research. And that's a really, really important feature. So sometimes you have fundraisers and a portion of the money goes to support, 100% of the dollars go straight to research. So we have awesome sponsors that make that happen.
Approximately 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. And although these statistics are very high, government funding for research hasn't increased. So patients and survivors know how important funding is, and they really appreciate what Velo Asano represents.
everybody has been affected, either through their family or friends or someone they know at work. In my case, I lost my mom to cancer when she was pretty young. She was 64 years old. My wife lost her mom when she was 51. And in both cases, there's been so much progress made in the research that I believe if my mom had gotten her cancer, multiple myeloma, today, she'd be able to survive. She'd be in remission. Back then, it was considered incurable. Since then, a lot of new therapies have been developed. So I'm a believer. You know, I've run into people who have the disease my mom had on this bike ride. I've met them here riding. And they talk to me about, you know, the therapies they've gone through and how it's enabled them to go into remission and to be able to lead, you know, high quality lives. And so that's what it's about. It's about finding those cures for all those diseases.
The only way we can make treatment better for tomorrow is by doing research and finding new treatment. So Velo Asano completely support cancer research in finding new treatment for cancer so that we won't lose so many people with a diagnosis of cancer.
The momentum for Velo Asano continues to grow. More and more teams sign up each year to ride, which means more money for cancer research. And Velo Asano offers 6 different ride routes that can accommodate everyone. From a 12-mile flat urban ride that's family-friendly to a 2-day and nearly 200-mile ride for Velo Asano's compassionate crusaders.
People are understanding the good that can come from Velo Asano, and each time it happens, one more voice echoes a little bit wider in each person's social network, and people understand the good that can be done. And further, the research that we get to do because of this event starts to have its own repercussions and ramifications of good, and I think that's why the building is happening.
We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more of TV20's Inside Sports Report.
Hi, I'm Mayor Frank Jackson. You've probably seen media coverage of the growing opioid epidemic in northeastern Ohio. But what you might not know is how many of these tragedies begin with a seemingly innocent prescription for pain medication. That is why we're teaming with the Cuyahoga County Opiate Marketing Task Force to encourage you to know the risk. Go to the website on your screen to learn which pills are opiates and alternative ways of dealing with pain. Which starts as a prescription can end with addiction, so know the risk.
Welcome back to TV20's Inside Sports Report. I'm your host, Christian Patterson. Baseball has extremely deep roots in the city of Cleveland. From professional to amateur to sandlot, baseball has always been a sport that Clevelanders enjoyed. Let's take a look at some of the historical fields around the city.
League Park was built back in the late 1800s by a gentleman who happened to own the trolley car system. He placed League Park in the middle of a thriving neighborhood. It was built in the late 1800s, and originally it was a wood stadium that was built for 9,000 fans. In 1908, 1909, there was a movement to take down the old wood stadiums and really build state-of-the-art facilities. So what we're standing in now is the ticket house from the 1909 League Park. And they increased the number of seats from 9,000 to 20,000, became a state-of-the-art field. Recently, the park was restored in 2014 when the museum moved from downtown Cleveland here to League Park, and they restored the ticket house, a wall that was a part of the original facility, and they put the field back in the exact dimensions as they were when it was originally built. So home plate is exactly where it was when the Cleveland Indians won their 1920 championship, when the Cleveland Buckeyes won the 1945 Negro League World Championship, when Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run, same spot. So when you come to visit the park and you get onto the field, you're actually standing on what we consider holy ground for baseball, because all the great players played out here on this field. And it is where the Cleveland Indians began.
And League Park is not the only historical field in the city of Cleveland. Brookside Stadium hosted a number of amateur baseball games in the early 1900s with crowds of 30 to 80,000. In those days, sandlot baseball was very popular and even garnered tons of media coverage.
Early 60s, 70s, even a little bit into the 80s, the Plain Dealer covered the league like they had teams in it every Sunday, a team picture, an article about them all the way through the league. They had articles about the umpires, they had articles about the fields. Sometimes the fields were good, sometimes the fields were bad, and there were articles about it. They had articles about the backers, about people that made it to the minor leagues, to the major leagues, and covered it like it was like unbelievable. We didn't think it was unbelievable at that time until all the coverage left, and then we knew what we missed.
From Brookside Stadium to Talty Field, back to League Park, Cleveland's baseball environment is rich with history. And for kids to be able to learn this history and play on these fields is amazing.
When we get kids coming in here and they're out there and they know that they're playing on holy ground, it truly is a magical place here. And every time we get a group of people in here, especially young people, and they get enthusiastic about what they're seeing and they get really interested in what's going on, it brings a pretty big smile to my face. And it's a wonderful experience, and I'm blessed to be able to be part of this.
Thanks for watching the Inside Sports Report. If you would like to catch past episodes of the Inside Sports Report, classic sports, or any city championship games, head over to our TV20 YouTube channel and click on subscribe.